Hello everyone, Spec here, back in with our Marvel Content Champions video. Today, I'm going to just try to predict slash, who I want to see get these next 3 buffs. Because as you know, for the, the Glorious Champions or whatever, they're reworking slash buffing 6 champions. We already got Medusa buffed, we got Purgatory buffed, and they just announced the Black Panther Civil War buff. Finally, that's in the game now. They like teased that like years ago. And yeah, it's finally in the game. And we never getting one from each class. So, we got Medusa for Cosmic, Purgatory for Mystic, and Black Panther for Skill. So that means there's only 3 more buffs, and it's going to be a Science, a Mutant, and a Tech Champion. And so yeah, these are some pretty cool classes. Let's start with Science. Alright, so just looking at it right now, there are a lot of options for who could receive a buff. Judging by who they chose to buff so far, it doesn't look like they're trying to buff any character like Abomination or Captain America who were here in the first when the game first released and they have no ability. It doesn't seem like they're trying to make totally brand new champions. It seems like they're just updating champions who are almost there. You know what I'm saying? At least that's what it looked like with Purgatory and Medusa. I don't really know too much about the Black Panther buff, but he's still got lots going on. So I don't know if they're completely reworking him, but yeah. So I'm gonna try to just keep him considered champions who are just almost there. And I think we just cross off Red Hulk. He already got buffed, and I don't think they're gonna buff him again. If I had to make a guess on who they're gonna buff, I honestly could say Sentry. He could probably get a buff, or maybe MODOK. Actually Invisible. I'd like to see an Invisible Woman buff. Yeah, I think I'm gonna lock in those 3. I'm gonna try to make 3 guesses. For each class. I think it's gonna either be Invisible Woman, MODOK, or Sentry. And out of those 3, I really want to see Sentry get a buff. But I do think it would be smarter to save that for when Thunderbolts release next year. So I think I'm going to lock in Invisible Woman. Invisible Woman is my guess. But if they are going to fully rework champions, I would love to see Abomination get a buff or Rhino. But like I said, I don't think they're going to go for a full rework. I just think they're going to update an already established kit. So yeah, I'm going to lock in Invisible Woman. I think that'd be a really awesome buff. Because she is the only member of the Fantastic Four that's I don't want to say bad because she's not that bad. But she's just so unreliable, so hard to play. A little bit impractical, so I do think updating her could, to bring her up to where the rest of the Fantastic Four are at, that'd be pretty cool. Plus, they already buffed Mr. Fantastic, so yeah, it'd be nice to get her up there. But yeah, that's my prediction. As for the Mutant class, I honestly could say I could list 10 champions I would like to see them get buffed. But if I'm going to limit it to just 3, well, we could already cross out Cyclops, and I'm going to say cross out both Cyclops because the blue team's getting buffed, so I don't think the red team is going to get buffed. So I don't think they're going to get updated at all. Believe it or not, I could definitely see them buffing Deadpool because they already updated his player model. I know, I'm going against the whole thing I just talked about before about, they're not trying to rework, make a whole new champion. I do think that, if they're going to do it, it would be for Deadpool. Plus, his model did get updated, so if they were going to buff him, or if they were going to buff any mutant champion, I could make the argument for Deadpool. Another champion I actually think could get a really nice buff would maybe be Psylocke. I think she could get a really nice buff. Her power control isn't horrible, but I have seen it where it is pretty decent. And I do think giving her a little bit more utility and stuff to do, a little bit more damage or whatever, some more ramp. I do think she could get a nice buff as well. And I'm going to go for a third. Who is my third? want to say Cable or Beast. Maybe yeah. I'm gonna say Beast. You know, Cable. He's got the Apox energy. I'm locking in Beast. Yeah. And if I was to choose, like, out of those three, if I was to lock any of them in for like my prediction, I really want to see Beast get the buff. Like, I want him to get buffed, and I think he is going to be the most likely candidate. Yeah. So between like Psylocke, Beast, and Deadpool, I'm gonna lock in Beast, and he's also the champion I want to get buffed the most because he's pretty cool. I like Beast, and yeah, he just kind of sucks, but he does got some stuff going on. I do think he could be a really fantastic champion with a buff. Alright, now we're going on to the tech class. So, it's funny, I regard the tech class as one of my least favorite classes, but then, like, a lot of my favorite champions are tech champions, so it's very, very, very weird. I'd love to see Civil Warrior get another buff, because, like, you may say, oh, well, he already got buffed, they're not going to buff him again. Well, you know, they buffed, like, Gamora, like, 3 times. They buffed Luke Cage twice, so I don't think Civil Warrior is completely off the table. I really do like Civil Warrior. He does have a lot going on. He just... His playstyle is very clunky, and it feels very weird. You know, you're constantly having to dash back and hold block to refresh Furies. Very impractical in game. It might sound good on paper, but I do think, like, maybe even just a slight buff of just increasing the duration of his armors and Furies, that could go a really long way, so it doesn't feel like you have to dash back every, like, 2 hits. So I think I'm going to lock in Civil Warrior. I also want to lock in Green Goblin. I do think Green Goblin could get a buff. And who else? Honestly, maybe Mysterio? I don't think so. Could see one going to Sentinel. Maybe Sentinel and Mysterio. I don't know. I'm locking in 4 champions for the tech class just because I feel strongly about all of them. And if I was to guess any of them, like, I really want to see Green Goblin Civil Warrior get the buff. Mostly Green Goblin, because, you know, Civil Warrior, he already got his buff and it didn't work. But Green Goblin got nothing. So if I'm going to lock in anybody, I want it to be Green Goblin. I'm going to lock in Green Goblin. And yeah, those are the champions who I think are going to get buffed next for the Glorious Champions or Glorious Games, whatever it's called. And yeah, so I'm locking in Green Goblin, Beast, and who did I say? Invisible Woman. Those are my 3 champions that I want to see buffed, and those are my predictions. So if it turns out they're getting buffed, you know, what can I say? I'm just the GOAT. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and goodbye.